Welcome to Triple Overtake, the podcast where we talk all things F1 related. I'm your host, Kylan. With me are my older brother,
Mason,
and my dad,
Bjorn.
Before we get started, you can email us at tripleovertake@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram, X, and YouTube. I'm going to go over the results of the 2026 Canadian Grand Prix. First, we have Kimi Antonelli, second, Lewis Hamilton, third, Max Verstappen, and continuing on the order, Leclerc, Hadjar, Colapinto, Lawson, Gasly, Sainz, Behrman, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Bortoleto, Ocon, Stroll, Bottas, and our DNFs are Perez, Norris, Russell, Alonso, Albon, and Lindblad. The first thing we're going to talk about is the McLaren strategy, starting on the inters and falling down the grid after that.
McLaren made an interesting strategic decision to start on the inters, as was pointed out in the commentary. They had a lot more to lose than some of the other teams that started on inters. I believe both Audis did, and a couple of other drivers were on inters. Oscar was clearly calling to go into the pit lane. He wanted to get off the inters. That was ignored. We didn't hear any radio from Lando, so I'm not sure what that decision was prior to the race, but clearly it was the wrong strategy. It did not work.
It did not.
I don't think it worked for any of the drivers or teams that went onto the inters.
Well, Lando did get the start, the good launch off the line, and got up to first, but
then they had to pit.
Yep,
right.
It didn't last long.
It's a rare blunder from McLaren.
Yeah, we usually see that more with Ferrari
a few years ago. I mean, McLaren, I guess, did have some interesting strategy calls between their two drivers last year when Lando and Oscar were fighting for the championship. But this was different. This was a self-inflicted wound. That didn't need to happen.
Okay, the next thing we're going to talk about is the Mercedes fight. I think it went on for about 30 laps and obviously ended in the Russell DNF. So what do you guys think about that?
It was a good fight. Wish it would have gone on longer. It's unfortunate that George's, I'm guessing it's something with his power unit. Yeah. He DNF, so...
He was not a happy camper.
No,
he was not.
We'll see what comes of him throwing his headrest basically onto the track. He'll probably just get a fine.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
But even Kimi said that wasn't the way he wanted to win a race. He wants the battle with George. He wants to go head-to-head with him, not only in this race, but throughout the season. Some of the commentary after the race was, I believe it was Jacques Villeneuve said that Kimi's the faster driver, the better driver. He looks like a champion out there. I don't know. George won the sprint race. He put it on pole for the sprint and the Grand Prix. I believe he was fastest in FP1 as well. Or is that Kimi?
I can check.
Okay. Well, anyway, George had a great weekend, so don't take anything away from him. But Kimi, yeah, he's aggressive. He fights hard. He's going for gaps that aren't always there. It was good fighting in the sprint race, good fighting today. Kimi got the win. 4 wins in a row, so a great showing for him. You feel bad for George. You know he's a capable driver. He's got it in him. It's not how any driver wants to go out with a power unit issue.
Yeah, Kimi led FP1.
Okay.
We saw a lot of moments in the first half of that race where George and Kimi were getting pretty close, maybe made a little bit of contact. Obviously,
I don't think so.
I don't know if they did. There was that one moment at the final chicane where it was pretty close.
Yeah, where Kimi locked up. Yep.
Yeah, it was close, but I don't think they made contact.
Just one more thing to add is I still like to see how aggressive Kimi is as a Max fan. I just love to see the aggression. He's always pushing every lap, and it's good to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's great to see Max back on the podium. Uh, his first of the season uh, with Red Bull's pace at the beginning of this year. It has not looked great. This is a high point for them.
It is, and I just want to throw in too that Hadjar looked good, and the other Red Bull. Good to see Max back on the podium. But in reality, you had two McLarens out of position, one McLaren out of position, and a DNF for Lando, a DNF for George. So is it a true third place? Yes, he gets the points. He stands on the podium. Is that where the Red Bull actually is? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see in Monaco.
Yeah, obviously a lot of top drivers and teams falling down the order, so we don't really know where these people would have been. Same with Colapinto in 6th, which is a great result, but obviously with the Piastri, Lando, George, probably would have only been P9. But you have to reap the rewards of what happens during a race.
Yep, you take the points when they're available.
There are a lot of investigations during the race. It seems that almost every driver had something, and it was a lot.
Same in the F2 race, too. There's a lot going on in both these races.
If I had one complaint about this weekend, it would be the stewarding, the time it takes for them to come up with a decision. It seemed like yesterday in both sprint races, F1 and F2, they were making those decisions fairly quickly. So drivers knew what their penalty was, and they had the option to serve their penalties. Today, for whatever reason, F2 and F1, they were taking a long time to make decisions, and some of those decisions were coming in after the race, which then hurts the drivers potentially for the next race. And you don't want to see that. You want to see them serve their penalties if they can and not carry those penalties forward.
We're going to talk about Lewis.
Oh, yeah. Lewis, 2nd place. I think that's his highest finish of the season. Great to see him back on the podium.
His highest finish with Ferrari.
Yep.
Yeah.
Grand Prix finish.
Yes.
Obviously, he won the sprint in China last year.
He's looking good. He's looking comfortable behind the Ferrari for the first time since he's joined Ferrari. And I know it's way too early to look ahead to Monaco, but if he's feeling this good, granted, Charles goes well around Monaco typically, or has, and it tends to be a Ferrari track, so we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Ferraris in Monaco. But Lewis is looking good. He's looking comfortable. We'll see what the future holds.
Is there anything else that we could talk about in this race? Obviously, Kimi, 4th win in a row. His first 4 wins. It's kind of crazy to see that when he's so young.
Yeah. How many points ahead is he in the championship now?
I think they said 43.
43. That's going to be a big gap there.
Right. It is a big gap, not insurmountable. Look at how Max closed the gap last year. Granted, Max is on a different level, and Kimi's driving on a different level right now. But it's a long season. We'll have to wait and see what George does on the bounce here. How is he going to respond? He looked pretty dejected after the race, and even Toto said, hey, we got to get him in the right headspace before Monaco. So that's another thing I'm looking forward to with Monaco. How does George respond? How does he bounce back from this? And who knows? These things have a way of evening themselves out. It's pretty easy to see Kimi having an issue at some point in the future too, and he'll have a DNF at some point, and George is going to make up a bunch of points. That's the way things tend to go in F1. It's a long season. That's why each race is so important. You got to pick up those points when you can.
Yeah. Should we talk about fantasy?
Sure.
Let's.
If you say so.
I'll start with our normal league. I had 232 points projected. I had Kimi doubled, which got me 118. Then I had Bottas, Bortoleto, Colapinto, Perez, Mercedes, and McLaren. I got DNFs with both Mercedes and McLaren, and obviously McLaren dropping down the order. Not the greatest.
What'd you got for points?
I got 225 points for my normal team. With Kimi, Hadjar, Carlos, Bortoleto, Hulkenberg, Mercedes, and Haas. No negative points, so that's good at least, but not many points.
That is good. I had 212 points. I dropped Charles to pick up Kimi. I had him doubled. For whatever reason, I also dropped Alpine to pick up Haas. Pierre seemed to be struggling, and I didn't know if Franco could continue the form that he's shown the last two races, but he did. He proved me wrong, so I can see myself possibly switching back to Alpine, but hanging on to Kimi for that team.
Yeah, I believe the order for that league is myself in first, Mason in second, and he passed Bjorn, who's now in third.
Ooh.
You mean I was in second?
Somehow, yes.
Wow.
Next is our draft team. I got 224 points with Kimi doubled, Lewis, Behrman, Lindblad, Bortoleto, Ferrari, and Cadillac. Pretty good to avoid some DNFs there, but obviously Lindblad and Checo. Hopefully Cadillac can still get some positive points there.
For my draft team, I got 115 points because I have George doubled, which got me 0 points. And I have Hadjar, Esteban, Franco, Checo, which right now has negative 12 points. Mercedes and Haas. Yeah, not a great week for my draft team.
And if you listen to the earlier episode, you know that I went with a double A-tier constructor lineup. So I had McLaren and Red Bull. McLaren didn't help me. They pulled in 15 points for me this week. So that means my drivers are Lance Stroll, Pierre Gasly, Carlos Sainz, Nico Hulkenberg, and Liam Lawson. I had Carlos doubled, and really I should have had anyone but him or Hulk, because they all would have gotten me more points. That means, yes, Lance Stroll outscored Carlos Sainz somehow. Moving forward, I'll go away from the double A-tier constructors and probably go back to double A-tier drivers.
I mean,
Thanks, Kylan, for the help.
I got you more points because you got.
I did get Red Bull.
You got more points, so.
Yeah, because I did have Lando on that team, so it helped not to have him on the team.
See, I just know what to do, somehow, but not on my teams. Anyway, the order for the draft league is myself in first, Mason in second, and Bjorn in third.
Common theme arriving.
Oh, just wait.
The next is our no chip, no change league. I got 109 points with George doubled, Hadjar, Hulkenberg, Bortoleto, Behrman, Mercedes, and Haas. I did better than Mason, so.
Well, yeah, because we have the same team except one driver. I have Arvid and you have Hulk. Now I got 92 points because Arvid got negative 16 points for me.
I also have Arvid, but I ended up with 183 points because I don't have George doubled. I have Charles doubled. I have Charles, Lewis, Lindblad, like I said, Franco, Bortoleto, and then Mercedes and Audi.
Oh,
Am I in third in this league too?
You're first.
Look at that.
That was a good team you had.
Mason in second and myself in third.
Whoa. He can be last. Crazy.
And I can be first. The first shall be last.
Wait, so am I in second in all of them?
Yep.
Oh, at least I'm consistent.
Are you close in any of them? Well, obviously the no changed one, since you have the same team basically. So I'd assume you're pretty close in points.
We're pretty close to you too.
I don't believe that.
It's
I'm
like-
sure I'm just smoking you guys. In
It's
that
like
I
league.
think you were far behind last week, so you probably just made up for it this week. Because, yeah, I was leading the no change league. It says I went down to second.
Mm-hmm. It does say that. Well, George isn't going to DNF every race.
Yep.
But Charles, he might place P8 or put it into the wall, like he said. So we'll see. We'll see what happens for the rest of the year.
Let's make some early predictions for Monaco.
What? That's way too early.
Based off of what we've seen in the last race.
Yeah.
Granted, we haven't seen practice and the upgrades that people are going to bring.
Mm-hmm. Let's just start with podium. I'll go for Charles P1,
Ooh.
Kimi, and George.
No Lewis on there?
Only Charles.
Only Charles. The hometown hero is going to win again.
Hopefully.
It's hard to pick because I don't know if Mercedes will be as good in Monaco. And Ferrari have been very good in the slow to medium speed corners. So I will also go with Charles. But then I'll put Lewis second. And let's go with Lando third. No Mercedes on there.
No Mercedes podium.
I'm crazy.
I don't know if I can do that. Just given Kimi's run, it's hard to go against him. So I think I'll go Kimi, Lewis, and in third,
Esteban.
not Esteban. Hopefully he gets in the points. One of the McLarens, and I'll probably lean toward Lando. Lando's seems to have had the better of Oscar this year, so I'll go with Lando.
I mean, Oscar didn't start the first two races.
True.
But, yeah, obviously over the course of the season, Lando has scored more points. Let's just go for a crazy prediction. I'll go...
Crazy prediction.
Isn't mine just no Mercedes on the podium? Is that crazy enough?
You could do that.
Double down.
I think
It'd be their first non-podium of the season,
That's true.
so that is pretty crazy.
I think that someone from the top 4 teams doesn't make it out of Q1.
Okay, any guess as to who that might be?
Okay, I'll go. I don't know.
Well, you've got Charles on the podium, taken first, so not him. It's hard to overtake in Monaco.
Yeah, I think one of the McLarens will get knocked out in Q1.
That is a pretty bold prediction.
It is.
And you're doubling down on your no Mercedes podium?
Why not?
Okay. I've already gone out on a limb and said Esteban's going to be in the points, even if it's just point. I am going to also make a bold prediction that Franco will continue to score points. Is that a bold prediction? Is that not bold enough for you?
Oh, that's...
I mean, you want something crazy like Alonso points?
Alonso
Or
P1.
that would be bold. Both Astons finished the race.
I mean, it's not as bold now. I mean,
No, they've done it Once?
once, but
We could go really crazy and say Checo gets a point. That would be bold.
That would be bold.
yeah. And he did win here in 22.
He flirted with the top 10 today for a little while.
Yeah. So did Fernando.
So did Fernando. Good point.
Yeah.
I'll stick to Esteban and Franco.
Did you write down any of our predictions from our last podcast for this race? Can't remember what I predicted.
I think I went for Audi points. You went for Max. Did you go for Max win?
Did I go for win or on the podium?
I know I had him on the podium. I had him in third. In our way too early predictions,
What were your
I believe
predictions?
it was George, Kimi, Max. Because typically George goes pretty good around Canada.
We should write these down
Yeah,
so
we
we can
should write
review
these
them
down.
later.
Or listen to our podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What should we do? Trying to think here. Other predictions we made.
I think you made 2.
I made 2.
Because
Was it Esteban related?
Mason was thinking for a long time.
Long time.
Yep. Well, we can keep thinking about Monaco as well. Got 2 weeks before they race again.
Can we talk about F2 at all?
I guess we can do that too.
Martinez Stenshorn winning the race,
Mm-hmm.
followed by Dunn, and then Mini.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Minnie is leading the
Should I-
championship by.
Should I finish the top 10? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Montoya in 4th, Shields in 5th, Verone in 6th, Herta in 7th, Boya in 8th, Miney in 9th, and Leon in 10th.
That's a crazy top 10.
That is a
Yeah.
very crazy top 10. The fact that Kean Shields was in 5th, his best result in F2
by far.
by
maybe,
far.
Maybe his only result.
Yeah, probably.
It's only points.
And even Montoya, that's got to be his best result too, I would think, up in 4th.
Yeah.
I don't. Or was he on the
I don't-
podium
he might
last
have
year?
Had a podium last year. He might have.
I'm going to throw this out there regarding Alex Dunn, but it seems like the stewards favor him a little bit and are afraid to give him a penalty. It seems like he's involved in a lot of incidents, but he doesn't seem to get penalized for them.
There were a lot of those today. Yeah.
That's true.
Like Miney hitting Solov off the track and he did not get a penalty. I'm pretty sure Dirksen did the same thing and then got a 10-second penalty. So
Immediately.
Mm-hmm.
yep. Trying to be more consistent with the penalties.
Montoya has 3 podiums.
In F2?
Yeah.
Really?
At the Monaco Grand Prix, Spanish Grand Prix, and then a Silverstone sprint.
Look at that.
Wow.
All 3rd.
Are those feature races? I'm
2 of them
guessing
were feature
2
races, yeah.
feature races, 1 sprint.
I was wrong.
I thought I remembered him on a podium last year.
It was sad, though. The Tridents were having a good weekend until the feature race when Van Hoopen put it into the wall. And then Bennett was taken out as well, wasn't he? What happened to Bennett?
I thought he
Yeah.
had the...
Neither one of them finished, but
No. Can't remember what happened to him. There was so much that happened in that
there was a
race.
lot
It
going
was
on in that race.
One of the craziest F2 races in a while.
It seems that, like, anytime one of these drivers would, get up into top 10, they would crash or get crashed into.
Yeah, but it was a good recovery drive for Solov and Dirksen until he got
Until he
penalties.
got penalized, yeah.
Yep, so he did
Even
not
Verone.
get points.
Because he was at the back of the field for a long time, too, and ended up, 6th, you said?
Wow. Yeah.
if you don't watch F2, you really should. These are wild races. There's a lot going on every single race. They're a lot of fun to watch, and some of these guys you will see in FP1, in F1. Some of them will be graduating to F1 as a reserve driver. I don't. Well, we've talked about this a little bit already. I don't envision any of these current drivers graduating and becoming a full-time driver in F1. Maybe Solov.
Maybe Kamara.
Maybe Kamara.
Dino.
I think Kamara's got to step it up a little bit here to get the spotlight back on him. He's definitely got the skills. He's just got to show them in F2.
Yeah, he had a pretty scrappy race today. He was running into people, and he's got to keep it clean.
Finished 3 laps down in 14th.
Yeah, because he had to come back out because he was going to retire the car, but he had to come back out to serve a penalty. So.
Going back to graduating from F2 to F1, and not to take anything away from Franco, he's really shown himself these last couple of races. But in my opinion, they've got a better reserve driver at Alpine than Paul Aron. Paul Aron, that same year that Franco and Behrman and who else was there? Kimi, Hadjar, Bortoletto. I mean, Aron finished third in the Drivers' Championship in F2 that year. He led for a good chunk of the season, battling with Bortoletto and Hadjar. And I think Franco, at the time he was called up, was 7th in the Drivers' Championship. I think Aaron's there waiting in the wings. I think someone should pick him up if there's an opening. Are you fact-checking me? I'm a Paul Aron fan, yeah.
Wait, was Aron in that same year?
Yeah.
Has he been sitting out a whole year?
He was a reserve. It's his second year out now. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it was that year.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Yeah, because Fornaroli won the championship last year. He didn't race last year.
And Fornaroli's another good one. You'd like to see these champions at least get their shot. And even for Bortoletto, there was a lot of foot dragging until Audi finally signed him.
Or Sauber, as it was at the
Sauber,
time.
correct.
Now
but looking back, that's a good signing. I was thinking, what are they waiting for? Sign him. But I think Fornaroli, same thing. He's a consistent driver. He scores a lot of points. He finishes races, doesn't DNF. I mean, these are things you think a team like maybe Cadillac, who wants to get younger in the future, they need someone who's consistent. He'd be a good option. Aaron's a little more aggressive, which could be a good thing too, but he's a solid driver, in my opinion. But what do I know?
You just mentioned Cadillac there. Colton Herta finishing 7th. They would definitely like to see him up higher. Coming over from IndyCar, there were decent expectations for him, and I don't think he has lived up to those.
Not yet, at least. I don't know if he ever will this year, really, with how good the competition is.
Yeah, we'll see. I kind of expected more from him. I know it's a transition, but he's an experienced racer. He's older, more mature than a lot of these drivers. Yes, he's got to come to grips with the car, but a lot of these guys are new to F2 machinery too. So I think I had higher expectations for him. I'm sure Cadillac does. So we'll see what the future holds for him too.
Yeah, Bottas, just want to talk about him. He's a bit off the pace of Checo. I think he finished 4 laps down in the Grand Prix. And that definitely has something to do with just the pace of the car, but Checo was still higher for most of the race until he DNF'd. And I think this could definitely be his last season at Cadillac or just in F1.
Yeah, I made the comment earlier this week that he just seems to have lost the drive to compete and win. not to take anything away from him. Obviously, he's an accomplished driver and racer with multiple wins. Was key to Mercedes' success. But after leaving Mercedes, he just doesn't have that same, I don't know, spark that he had at Mercedes.
Yeah. I think he has, 9 wins?
I believe so.
10.
A lot more poles, didn't he? He was very fast in qualifying.
20 poles.
Okay.
Yeah. All between 2017 and 2021, which I think is when he was at Mercedes. Yeah, because Rosberg was 2016.
So do you think he'll be the first piece of the driver's puzzle to fall?
Yeah.
Or is it all still hinge on Max and what Max wants to do?
Max is definitely the focal point of where this silly season, so to say, will start. I think before this weekend he was very happy, and I think he told some media that he wasn't planning on retiring. Then after the sprint race, he said something about if they didn't change the engine split that he would retire. And now with the podium, I don't know how he's feeling. It's up and down.
But Lewis seems to have taken himself out of the silly season scenario. He says he's planning on being around for several years. Whether if that's with Ferrari or a different team, he's planning on being around. I would assume another piece of the puzzle would be Alonso, as he's getting up in age. I can't imagine he's enjoying life at Aston Martin right now. So yeah, we'll wait and see, I guess.
We will.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he said that he didn't want to end on a bad year, but I don't know if there will be any good years of Aston Martin.
I don't know how many people would want to take that seat.
There's always someone that'll take it.
Crawford, he's been their reserve
yeah.
for a year or two.
Yeah. They might want to try to get somebody
with some
experienced, maybe.
Lance has plenty of experience.
Experience getting
right.
qualified by Fernando.
Most Q1 exits.
Mm-hmm.
Very experienced at that.
Yeah.
He has his moments.
Hey, he scored me 16 points today, or 12 points for fantasy.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Finished 15th, so he's up like 7 spots.
There you go. No, silly season's always fun. Looking at some of the teammates as well. George, with the rise of Kimi, how long is he going to stick around at Mercedes? He doesn't want to be the number 2. He's been the number 2 guy there for long enough, I would assume. Oscar doesn't seem the happiest at McLaren. You know that McLaren's going to keep Lando. So could those guys move? And if they move, where would they go? That's a lot of potentially moving pieces.
I've heard a lot about Piastri potentially going to Red Bull. Obviously with his manager, Mark Webber, who was a Red Bull driver. He knows people in the what's the word?
Red Bull camp.
The Red Bull camp.
But that's assuming Max isn't there.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
If Max leaves, then Oscar would probably go there.
That would make sense. I could see that.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar and Hadjar. That'd be an interesting battle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What else do you have on the docket? Have we covered it all?
I think we may have covered everything.
And then some?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, this is fun stuff to talk about, and we could talk about it a long time, but it's a long season.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we'll come out with so many more episodes. But
But you're saying we should wrap it up for tonight?
I think we should.
Okay.
That is it from the Triple Overtake crew, and we hope to see you in the next episode.
Goodbye for now.